Keanu Reeves was walking through the busy streets of Los Angeles when a haunting melody stopped him in his tracks. The voice of a young boy, singing with raw emotion, rose above the city's chaos. Sitting on the sidewalk, the boy played a battered guitar, his sign reading, "For my sick mom. Please help." Moved by the heartbreaking song, Keanu struck up a conversation and learned about the boy's desperate attempt to save his ailing mother. What happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. From a simple act of kindness to life-changing opportunities, Keanu proved that even the smallest gestures can create ripples of hope and transformation. This is the story of generosity, resilience, and a bond that changed lives forever. Keanu Reeves was walking through the bustling streets of Los Angeles, seeking solace in the simplicity of everyday life. The hum of the city surrounded him, street performers playing music, vendors calling out their goods, and the general rhythm of a city alive with energy. He enjoyed moments like these, blending into the crowd, finding peace in the anonymity that his baseball cap and plain jacket offered. But as he passed a busy intersection, a sound caught his attention, pulling him out of his thoughts. It was the voice of a young boy, singing with a raw, heartfelt emotion that stopped Keanu in his tracks. The boy's voice rose above the noise of the city, clear and poignant, carrying a melody that seemed to tell a story of loss, hope, and love. Following the sound, Keanu found a small boy, no older than 12, sitting cross-legged on the pavement with a battered guitar. His clothes were frayed, his face pale, but his determination was undeniable. A cardboard sign lay in front of him, with shaky handwriting that read, "For my sick mom. Please help." Keanu stood at a distance, listening to the boy's song. The lyrics were heartbreaking, speaking of a mother's illness, the struggles of poverty, and the desperation of a child trying to save the one person who meant the world to him. People passed by, some pausing to drop a coin or two into the boy's jar, others hurrying on without a glance. But for Keanu, the boy's voice was impossible to ignore. It wasn't just the beauty of the song, it was the emotion behind it, the story it told. When the boy finished, Keanu approached him, kneeling to meet him at eye level. He placed a generous bill into the jar, and the boy looked up, his eyes wide with gratitude and surprise. "Thank you, sir," he said softly, his voice trembling. "What's your name?" Keanu asked gently. "Liam," the boy replied, hugging his guitar close. "That was a beautiful song, Liam. Did you write it yourself?" The boy nodded, his cheeks flushing slightly. "It's about my mom. She's really sick, and we can't afford her medicine. I thought if I played here, maybe someone would help us." Keanu's heart ached at the boy's words. "Where's your mom now?" he asked. "She's at the shelter," Liam said, glancing at the ground. "She's too weak to come out. I promised her I'd bring back enough money for her medicine tonight." Keanu hesitated for only a moment before speaking. "Can you take me to her?" Liam hesitated too, unsure of the stranger's intentions, but something about Keanu's kind demeanor reassured him. Gathering his few belongings, Liam led Keanu through the winding streets of the city to a modest shelter. The building was old, its paint peeling and its sign flickering, but inside, it was warm and filled with people seeking refuge from the harshness of the outside world. In a quiet corner, wrapped in a thin blanket, sat a frail woman with soft eyes and a gentle smile. Her face lit up when she saw Liam, and she reached out to him as he rushed to her side. "Mom, this man wanted to meet you," Liam said, his voice filled with hope. Keanu introduced himself, though it was clear that the woman, whose name was Clara, didn't recognize him. He wasn't offended. In fact, he found it refreshing. He knelt beside her and listened as she spoke about their struggles, how an unexpected illness had taken away her ability to work as a nurse, leaving them homeless and with mounting medical bills. Keanu felt a deep sadness as he listened. It was a story he had heard too often: good people, hard-working people, brought to their knees by circumstances beyond their control. As he sat there, he made a silent vow to help. He couldn't solve the problems of the entire world, but he could make a difference in this family's life. The next day, Keanu made several phone calls. He arranged for Clara to receive immediate medical care and found a temporary apartment for her and Liam to stay in while she recovered. But he didn't stop there. He remembered Liam's song, the raw talent and emotion it carried, and he knew the boy deserved a chance to share his gift with the world. Keanu returned to the shelter with exciting news for Liam. He had arranged for the boy to visit a professional recording studio to record his song. Liam's eyes lit up with a mix of excitement and disbelief. "Really?" he asked, his voice trembling. Keanu smiled. "Really, you have a gift, Liam, and the world needs to hear it." In the studio, Liam poured his heart into the recording, his voice resonating with the same raw emotion that had caught Keanu's attention that day on the street. The song, titled For My Mom, told their story with honesty and vulnerability. It was impossible to listen to it without being moved. Keanu used his connections to share the song online, and it quickly went viral. People around the world were touched by Liam's voice and the story behind it. Donations began pouring in, enough to cover Clara's medical expenses and secure a stable future for the family. As the weeks turned into months, Clara regained her strength, and Liam's life transformed. He continued to write and record music, using his platform to advocate for families facing similar struggles. Clara, ever the caregiver, began volunteering at the shelter, determined to give back to the community that had supported her during her darkest days. Keanu remained a quiet, steadfast presence in their lives, choosing not to seek recognition or the spotlight for his generosity. His actions weren't about public praise or media attention. They were about humanity, compassion, and making a genuine difference. Over time, Clara's health improved dramatically, thanks to the medical care Keanu had made possible. With her renewed strength, she pursued her dream of becoming a social worker, eager to give back to others in need. Liam, on the other hand, excelled in his music, using the new opportunities Keanu had created for him to turn his talent into a burgeoning career. Keanu never sought thanks or acknowledgement. Instead, he watched from afar as Clara and Liam rebuilt their lives. Occasionally, he would attend Liam's small performances, sitting in the back of the venue, clapping along with the crowd, but slipping away before anyone recognized him. For him, the real reward was seeing the spark of hope he had ignited flourish into something extraordinary. In interviews, when Liam was asked about the man who had forever changed their lives, he would smile warmly and say, "He didn't just help us, he believed in us, and that belief gave us the courage to believe in ourselves." That made all the difference. Their journey became an inspiring testament to the transformative power of kindness, and Keanu's quiet act of compassion became a ripple effect that touched countless lives beyond Clara and Liam's. For Keanu, it was never about the recognition. It was about the simple act of listening, of seeing someone in need and choosing to help. And for Clara and Liam, it was a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always hope, and there are always people willing to lend a hand. Together, they proved that kindness and compassion can change lives, one small act at a time.